Does making consistent money in business seem easy for others but hard for you? Does it seem like others know something that you don't and that's why their business is growing? Well, the operative word here is seems like, but I do remember feeling this exact same way back in 2014 when I first started on my entrepreneurial journey. I thought that there was this one puzzle piece, and if I could just get my hands on this one puzzle piece, I'd be making so much more money and my business would skyrocket. But here's what I not so quickly discovered. It's that there isn't just one business puzzle piece, but there is one piece that no matter what you do in business, everything will always work for you. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you in this video. Back in 2014, I joined a mastermind and I would also attend a lot of events. I realized that there was power in proximity. I was close to multiple six-figure, seven-figure, eight-figure earners. And even though they were all really successful with their different industries and domains and arenas that they were building businesses in, they all had one commonality. And that's the commonality that I'm going to be sharing with you in this video. But first, let me lay a foundation for you. I want you to imagine that you are building a house and you've got layers of bricks. You've got your first layer, you've got your second layer of bricks. Well, the bricks are actually the strategies and the tactics that you use to build a business. It's a template, a framework, it's a viral hook. It is what we do strategically to take action and grow. But what goes in between the bricks? That's actually something called mortar, mortar, which is a combination of sand and cement. It is the mortar that holds the bricks together. Because if there's nothing in between those bricks, then the bricks are going to be shifting and you're not going to have a stable foundation. So if the bricks are the strategies and the tactics, what is the mortar? The mortar is actually our beliefs. And there was a very specific belief that I realized, I didn't know this back then, but I know this now, that all of these six-figure, seven-figure, and eight-figure earners had. It was a very specific belief. So even though they all had different bricks building their houses, what they had holding it all together was pretty much the same thing when it comes to their belief. And there was one very specifically that I'm going to tackle inside of this video. And I think it's so important for us to realize that the thing that you are searching for, the thing that I used to be searching for, was bricks because I would always think that something is missing. Drop it in the comments if you think that there is something missing inside of your business. Well, what we end up doing is looking for another strategy, looking for another tactic. We're looking for more bricks. But this video isn't going to give you more of what you've already got. It's not going to give you a strategy or a tactic, not in this particular video anyways. Watch my other videos for strategies and tactics. This video is going to give you the mortar. It's going to give you the glue, the cement, the thing that makes your bricks stick together so that they're not shifting and that you are building a stable business no matter the kind of business that you are making. So, what is this one common belief? Well, 2 years ago, I was going to brunch with some of my friends. One girl was moving out of state, and we all decided to go to brunch. One girl picked where we were going to go, and on the day of going to brunch, I type in that restaurant in my GPS, and off I go. I get there and I walk inside. I don't see anybody. So I call one of the girls and I said, "Hey, I'm here." She goes, "I'm just pulling up." Well, while I'm still waiting on the phone, I'm like looking around, expecting I would see her. I don't see anybody when she just said she was just pulling up. And I even heard her go like this, like through the phone, I heard her lock her door. And so I'm looking around, but I'm like, I don't hear the noise. So I thought that was strange. So she's like, "Where are you?" I'm like, "I'm right outside." She goes, "I'm right outside." And then we both confirmed we were at the same restaurant. And we're like, okay, this is weird. Like, you're outside, I'm outside. And then it dawned on us. She goes, "Well, where are you?" I was like, "Well, I'm in Tampa." She goes, "I'm in St. Pete." And I went, oh. The GPS was programmed to go to the restaurant, but it was programmed to go to a restaurant in a completely different part of town. The GPS could only take the actions in which it was programmed for. So if the mortar of our house that we are building, our business, if you will, is programmed because that's our beliefs, then the question then becomes, who programmed us? Well, society, our parents, culture, the school system, government. We are all programmed and we are taking actions accordingly. And one of the actions that we tend to take is always looking for another strategy, always looking for another tactic, but without actually building a belief system, the thing that's going to make the strategy and the tactics work. So the GPS could only go exactly where it was programmed, which means we can only go exactly where we are programmed. So if you are looking to make more money, be on your path to success, but you are programmed in a way that is for everything but success, everything but more money, there is no amount of willpower, there is no amount of strategy or tactic that you can use that is going to override the program that you currently have running. And this is why you likely feel tired, you likely feel burnt out, you might even maybe feel a little bit resentful or questioning or doubting yourself. But it all has to do with your program. And this was something that I learned just being in close proximity with these 6-figure, 7-figure, and 8-figure earners is that they had a certain programming to them. Now, they all shared a story with me that they realized the moment that they were programmed to lose, basically programmed to not win, to not make money. And the work and the effort that they had to put into place in order to program themselves differently, program for success, program to make more money, program to leave this mediocre thinking behind. They all had this seed. I have this seed, and if you're watching this video, I know you have this seed too. You have this seed inside of you that you are made for more, or you wouldn't be on this journey. You wouldn't have already taken action. And so, as you are on this journey, you have this seed, you're going after it, you keep feeling like you're being derailed. Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you how to reprogram yourself because there is this one belief that when you can shift this one belief, then you're going to be able to start making more money. The one belief that they had in common is that they feel more than good enough. They feel that they were born for this. They have shifted the belief. So right now, what most people believe is I'm not good enough. But the belief system of these multiple 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure earners is that they're more than good enough and that they were made for this. Now, not everybody had that initial belief system set in place. They were initially feeling like, man, I'm not good enough. Not everybody felt that way, but many of them did. But after doing the inner work, after shifting, they were able to not only feel like they were more than good enough, but they were like, I was made for this. That's really what keeps so much of us on the journey is knowing deep down inside we are actually made for this. So it's frustrating when we're taking action, but we're like, well, why isn't it working? Because we feel like there's more. Well, it's based on our programming. So where do you get new beliefs from? Two places. You get new beliefs from the Bible, and you also get new beliefs from leaders who are living a fruitful life. But you might also be thinking to yourself right now, well, Siobhan, I don't think that I'm not good enough. And I get it. I thought this too. I never thought that I wasn't good enough. But one of the ways that we actually can recognize if this is a part of our belief system or not is that we procrastinate. We procrastinate on taking action because the reason why you're procrastinating is because what you're prolonging yourself from feeling is actually the feeling of I'm not good enough. And so when you decide you're going to take an action, you're going to go for the next level in your business. If there is an action that you know you need to take, but inside on a subconscious level, you don't feel good enough, you're going to procrastinate because you don't want to feel like that. You don't want to feel any moment of not being good enough. And then if you do take action, it's often when your back is against the wall, you're kind of like fed up with yourself, or you use willpower to push yourself through it, but then that doesn't last. You still end up in your procrastination behavior, in your procrastination pattern, because what you're doing is just prolonging that feeling of, I'm not good enough. The other thing that showcases this is you keep learning without taking action. Learning is good. I'm not saying don't learn, but what I am saying is we can get into a mode where we are learning, 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 and we're not taking any action, which is another form of procrastination from taking action, is we think we don't know enough. That's why we keep learning, but we never learn and implement. We just learn, 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 learn. And then it's like, oh my gosh, I got all this stuff. And now you feel subtly satisfied from learning, because learning can often make people feel like they are doing something, like they are taking action, like something in their business is happening. It's this false sense of achievement. It's this false sense of, ooh, gains are being made inside of my business, when all you're doing is you're kind of massaging your brain into thinking something that it's actually not really doing. And so if you are in a space right now where you're just learning, 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 and you're soaking it up, then you're in one of those phases. When I first started in my entrepreneurial journey, I was soaking up a lot of stuff and I did take massive action. I was ignorance on fire. I was doing just about everything that my coaches had told me to do, and I was doing it really, really fast. But I was doing it and I didn't have the right glue. I didn't have the right mortar, the right cement holding all my strategies together, which is why things have shifted for me along my journey since 2014, because what I had to discover was how to actually get the belief system needed in order to sustain levels of success that I had been creating. Because we can create success. There's enough strategies in place. There's enough within us that we can do it. But what happens is if we don't have the right mortar, the right stuff holding it together, then we kind of plummet back down. Then we can build ourselves back up again and then plummet back down. And then you end up ebbing and flowing in your income. Drop in the comments if this is something that you have noticed, where you can have a really good cash month and then you come back down, you don't make any money. Or it's like, oh my gosh, this was really, really good. And then, okay, next month, not as good, but I'm still making something. But it's a roller coaster of income. And you're wondering, well, what is the strategy? What is the next tactic that I need? There must be something I'm not doing right. Well, those are all the bricks, remember. What we are here to build is the mortar. So the third way that you can know if not feeling good enough is a belief system that you currently hold is that you take action, but you don't follow through. So you take an action enough to see a little bit of a result, but then you stop. And then you take another action enough to see a little bit of a result, but then you stop. And now this also keeps you on a roller coaster. This also keeps you on this yo-yo of income, on this yo-yo of even feeling on the inside, even feeling good enough. And again, this might not be something that is conscious to you, but our actions will always tell us how we are programmed. The GPS took me where it took me because of how it was programmed. Even if I decide, oh, I'm going to take this street because maybe I see some traffic and I know there's a workaround, I'm going to go this way, but guess what the GPS is going to do? It's going to redirect me back on its path. So even though you might be taking action, you're actually being redirected to your baseline belief system right now of I'm not good enough. And this looks different on multiple layers. So you could be just getting started in business, and this could be hindering you from taking these initial steps. But if you're already somebody who's making money, and maybe you're making one to two, three, $5,000 a month or even more, it's hindering you from getting to that next level because you've worked through some of the I'm not good enoughness, but now there's a new layer. We've got to still pack in more of this mortar, more of this cement. So I want to move into how you actually rewire this belief system because you could be putting your bricks down with I'm not good enough, or you could be putting your bricks down with I'm made for this. And the fact that you are watching this video, the fact that you keep going, the fact that you've got that grit lets you know that you are made for this, or you wouldn't keep going. But when you rewire the belief system, it's going to help put you at ease. It's going to help you actually have this firm belief that you're not just spinning your wheels anymore. And this is what I noticed about those multiple 6, 7, and 8-figure earners. It's actually the fact that they all believed in themselves to such a degree that they believe anything that they put their hands on is going to work, even when it looked like nothing is going to work for them based on their reality. Their belief was that not working out is still working for me. And that is the kind of gumption that we need to have in our business. That's the level of belief that we need to hold. And when we know that we are more than good enough and that we are made for this, then it doesn't matter what the situation looks like because we know that we are on the journey. We know that we are on the path. So, first thing we want to do to rewire this belief is number one, we want to recognize the root. So, where did you start believing this? Did you have a parent that would criticize you and tell you things? Did you have a teacher that would tell you things? Who in your proximity was feeding information into you, not necessarily intentionally telling you that you're not good enough, but how were they feeding you by maybe always putting you down? Or maybe, looking at your report card, maybe if it's a parent and they're seeing, okay, you've got A, B, A, B, A, B. Oh, you got this one D. And all they hyper focus on is that one D, but they never congratulate you for the A's and B's that you did get, but they're hyper focused on that one thing. Well, you could have adopted in that moment, well, I'm not good enough because where that hyper focus was. So take a look at, where this first thought came from that you recognized that this could have come up. And don't overthink this. The goal isn't to spend too much time digging into the past, but sometimes it can actually be really helpful for us to have an understanding of where something has come from. Not for us to stay there, but for it to be at the surface so it can be cleared. If something is lurking around in our subconscious mind, and we don't even know that it's there, just like you probably didn't realize that this level of programming is there, then you can't change it because you don't even know that it's there. So this is making you aware that something is there so we can clear the table. It's like it's underneath the surface. We bring it up and then we can clear it, but it's not to spend time there. The second thing, so the first thing was recognize the root. The second thing is we want to reject the lie. And I said the word reject, like rebuke the lie, okay? We know that this is a lie. We are made in God's image. Why would a creator make something for it to not work or not work well? We don't ever create anything for it to be bad. We don't create anything for it to not be optimal. And I want to give you a piece of scripture here to help you anchor this in. Ephesians 2:10 says, "For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus, unto good works, which God hath before ordained that we should walk in them." So we are created in God's image, in his workmanship. So we are carefully crafted. He knows all the hairs on our head. We have been ordained, which means even before we were here, he knew that we were going to do good work because you are a child of him. So we're created to already do something good. So why would we not be good enough? Reject that lie, rebuke that lie. That is the enemy trying to cloud your vision, trying to obscure your vision, trying to obscure the path that you are on. So we are going to reject that lie. And we're going to use scripture to do so. Number 3 is we want to reframe the narrative. So, yes, there are skills that you need to learn. You are likely operating in your business to some degree on some talent, level of spiritual gift, or even levels of intuitiveness, which is a spiritual gift. And you're just good. Like maybe you can help a lot of people. You've already gotten results for some people. You're just good. But there are skills that you need to develop that are just some hard business skills. There's some soft skills, yes, but some hard business skills that you need to learn. And so if you can reframe this not feeling good enoughness, not only with the fact that we're made in his image, but that your challenge is likely feeling like, man, I'm not good enough because I don't know something. Well, here's the thing. Everything that you know now, there was a point where you didn't know it. So that means that you have the capacity to learn new things. So the skills that you need to develop can be learned. It's not a feeling of, I'm not good enough. It's a feeling of, cool, I actually get to go learn something new that's going to help me in my business. You get to layer your skill set on top of your talent, and you get to layer your skill set on top of your spiritual gifts. And this is how you're going to start feeling levels of concreteness, different levels of confidence within you. The third thing is rewire with action. So what's the action that you've been holding back on that you haven't taken? Because now that you have recognized where this has come from, you've rejected the lie, you have reframed that you just need a new skill or certain skills to put on top of your talents. Now it's like, well, let me go take an action to solidify this new level of beingness. Because it's not just trying to learn a new strategy or learn a new tactic. I'm now going to be taking action from a place of, I believe. I believe I'm made for this. I believe I'm born for this. I believe God made me for this purpose. He put me on this planet for this exact mission that I'm on. I got to refine some skill sets, but I'm made for this and I'm willing to learn. So, what is the action that you've been holding yourself back from taking? Take that action. And no action is too small. It's not like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to wait to take a really big action. No, no, no. There's no action that is too small for you to take. Everything counts. Compound effect. Look at how many little grains of sand there is to make up an entire beach. It's getting warm here in Florida. We had a couple of weeks of it being in the 60s. And I know if you're watching this and you're from somewhere else, you're like 60s, maybe you're in 30-degree weather. But anyways, I was just at the beach the other day, so that's why that image came to my mind. But look at how many grains of sand it takes. The grain of sand is like, it's so small, it's itty bitty. But that grain of sand compounds and it makes the entire beach. So there's no action that is too small. Then you want to, number 5, you want to reinforce with evidence. So you want to look at the results of your actions. And it doesn't mean that you've achieved the big goal, like the big thing you want is achieved. But it means that you feel better about yourself. You feel more confident. You feel more competent. You realize, the needle moved. And just from that space alone, you actually start to feel really good. So reinforce with the evidence, not just how you feel, but what it is you're actually seeing inside of your business. And how does it feel being the person? Because listen, when you hit results in your business, it feels really good for a moment. And it's not that, you're ungrateful or you're not excited, but when you achieve something, that achievement moment lasts for a blip. But the feeling of being the person lasts a lifetime. And that's something that can always be replicated because you being the person will continue to produce different kinds of results in your business. And this is how you start making consistent income because it is not just based off one strategy, one tactic, one fast action that you can never, ever duplicate again. But it's you being the person that continuously is able to produce. Number 6 is you want to replace negative influence. You want to remove everything that is not in alignment with you achieving what you desire to achieve, what God has placed on your heart. You got to remove it because it's like poison. And when I say it's like poison, I don't just mean like, oh, this one person here, they're not too bad. They're only bad sometimes. No, I mean friendships might need to be cut off. And I don't say this to be harsh. I just say this to mean that as you evolve, there are going to be people in your circle that can't come with you. And that might be one of the ways that you are maybe not feeling good enough is because you've actually adopted the belief system of people that are around you. And so you start acting like the five people you're around. They always say you're the average of the five people you hang around, and that's true. And it's so much easier for one person to bring someone down than it is for one person to pull someone up. Have you heard of the crabs in a barrel analogy? There's multiple crabs in the barrel. They start climbing on top of each other. One actually starts to get out, but the other is pulling it down. That one isn't going to be able to pull those crabs up. So maybe you're being held down right now from negative influence with the people in your circle. Maybe the negative influence is just the way that you talk to yourself. Maybe the negative influence is something that you are listening to. Maybe it's something you're watching that is bringing down your mood, bringing down your spirit, and just weighing you down. So take inventory of that and replace negative influence. And then the last way, number 7, is to repeat until your reality shifts. This is a daily practice. This is not something that you just do one time. This is a daily practice because there are layers of not feeling good enough. And I gave that example earlier in this video. If you're just getting started, maybe you haven't gone live yet. Or maybe you're already making 20K months and you've gone live, but now maybe you're afraid to go in public. Maybe you're okay behind the screen, but you don't want to be in front of a live audience because you don't feel good enough. So you can see there's different layers of not feeling good enough, and it's going to look different depending on where you are in business. We're all still working through some component of not feeling good enough. But here's what I can tell you. When you wholeheartedly anchor yourself into how God sees you, that feeling literally goes away. It goes away, and you stop feeling like you aren't good enough because you realize God made you to do the thing that he put you here on this planet to do. So why would you not be good enough? And if you can keep reminding yourself of that, that is going to carry you. And then you put into place these other 7 that I have given you, so that way you can, on a very human level, start to shift how you feel inside of your body. This was something that, me not feeling good enough was definitely something that I used to feel growing up because I was always striving. I was like the straight A student, needed to get the 100. Getting a 98 wasn't good enough. It's like, oh man, I missed that one. What I've come to realize is that I was not always seeing myself in the identity of Christ. And I cannot tell you how much that has really shifted my life. It's shifted how I see myself, which means it's shifted my business. It's shifted my personal life. It's shifted everything. We operate in business differently when we have the identity of Christ. And these other ways that I gave you, these other steps, are going to help you shift that belief on some different layers as well. So, what does this belief mean for your content? Well, first and foremost, you're going to stop creating content that speaks to everyone. When you are not feeling good enough, you will make content that speaks to everyone. Because when you don't feel good enough, your ultimate goal is to get likes, to get followers, to get subscribers, to get engagement. You are making the content for everyone for the purpose of being liked and getting that level of engagement. You're not actually creating the content to service people, to service your very specific audience. You're actually creating it so that you can be served because deep down, you're not feeling good enough. So you're looking to be served by creating your content rather than serving. This is really, really, really critical. So when you get rid of that belief, and you completely adopt a new belief that you are born for this, you start creating content very specifically for your ideal audience. And this is how you start making more consistent money because you're not just creating an audience of like everyone. You're actually creating a very specific and targeted audience for what you are building. So, you know, the hidden the hidden agenda of creating content is not something that you are privy to. You're not actively trying to create the content hoping that you get likes. But underneath, that's what's happening because our subconscious mind is programmed in that direction to get likes. It's programmed to feel good enough. And so it's going to look for ways that it can feel good enough and it will use your business to validate you rather than using your business to service the people. The second thing that actually changes when you shift this belief is that your content feels more authentic. And if your content feels more authentic for you to create, that means it's more authentic for your audience to receive, which means they build trust with you and now they're able to buy from you with ease because the energy in which you are creating your content isn't from a space of I need something from them. I need them to like it. I need them to buy. Oh man, I hope I put out a good piece of content so that somebody proves to me that I'm good enough. No, no, no. Shifting this belief system completely guts that out. And now you're creating really authentic content that your audience really feels pulled towards. They feel pulled towards it in a way where they feel at home. They feel at peace reading your words or listening to your voice. They feel at peace because you're at peace, because you already know you're made for this. And it's actually okay if some people say no, or they don't want to buy, or it's not the time yet, because you're not making it mean anything about you. You're not making it mean anything about you not being good enough. You stop taking everything so personal. You don't make it mean like, oh man, I should have done better. Yeah, there's ways for us to improve, sure. But you're not taking every piece of content as like, man, I'm not good enough, or I'm taking it personal. So you start making more authentic content in this way, your audience will build deeper trust with you, which is how you start making more consistent money because now they're going to want to buy from you. And the third way that shifting this belief helps with your content is your content will show your personality. It will show the aspects of you that you've been trying to hide. If you're not feeling good enough, then you're going to hide aspects of your personality that you think other people aren't going to like. And if you think other people aren't going to like it, then you're going to hide it, which makes you not authentic in your content and looking to please everyone in your content. But when you completely eradicate that belief of I'm not good enough, there's parts of your personality that shows you are quirky and you actually start attracting the right people because they're actually going to resonate with your level of quirkiness. They're going to resonate with your humor. They're going to resonate with whatever part of you. I'm a very empathetic person. I love jokes. I love and I've got a weird sense of like analogies at times. And I will just drop it in a video. I'll share it on my stories on Instagram and Facebook. I will share it in a live if I go live on Facebook or even on IG, or I'll share it here on YouTube. I've noticed that when I do that, people resonate. People are like, "Oh, I think the same way," or "I feel the same way." Sometimes we're trying to be so buttoned up for people that we're not allowing ourselves to just be human. It's like we forget that we are human beings. We forget that we have quirky sides and we have funny sides and we have serious sides and we have high emotion sides. There's a wide range. But when you can actually showcase that and you can tell stories and use frameworks and analogies and metaphors that really showcase who you are, that's when your audience starts to really gravitate towards you. And that's actually how you build an audience, is because it's your personality. Because there's so many people creating very similar types of content. Well, what makes one person gravitate towards one more than another? It's the story. It's the way that you're being taught. It's the level of character that you are putting into your videos. That makes all the difference. That is honestly how you cut the noise. There are so many ways to create content, but when you infuse your personality, you're always going to be winning. And I actually have a 7 biggest mistakes content masterclass that I have created. So if you haven't yet grabbed that, make sure you grab that down below in the description box, because these are the 7 biggest mistakes that are actually blocking you from making consistent income. Now, these are more tactful and strategic, so make sure that you grab that. So, this is just an example of the one belief system that I'm not good enough. But if you use these 7 steps, you are going to be able to eradicate that belief system and any others that you might also have that is holding you back from signing more clients, making consistent income, and growing your business. Drop it in the comments how this video landed for you. Share this with a business bestie, and I will see you all in another video. Bye.